Hi, everybody. Welcome again to Heal the Shadow in Your Relationships Too. I am so pleased today to have with me the lovely Christel Hughes. Hi, Christel.
Hi there. Hi.
I'm going to tell everybody a little bit about you. Christel is an international multi-sensory energetic intuitive. She's a medium. She's a holistic life coach. She's known by many as spiritual trainer to the stars, specializing in self-development, energetic healing, and rapid transformation for celebrities and individuals around the world. She's an author of 5 books. She has training in hypnosis, guided imagery, NLP, timeline therapy, as well as a BA in metaphysics. And Christel established Academy for the Soul in 2008, which has supported and certified intuitive strategists from all over the world to facilitate her proprietary integrative soul technology process in over 7 countries. Wow, Christel, so impressive. Thanks so much for being here.
It's my pleasure. I mean, I can already feel the vibes and, the light that's shining through as we were talking about. This community is so precious in the energy and the vibration. So thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be here.
Oh, wonderful. And we are talking about healing the shadow in your relationship. So we know, Christel, that you have multisensory abilities. As an intuitive, you can see, hear, know things energetically. So what do you see that our shadows really are, and how would one recognize them?
Okay, yeah, perfect question to start out with. It's interesting because if I could tell a story that would share a little bit more with you, I think we would all go there instantly.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Because what I see is the shadows are these fractured off parts of us in which some event occurred along our timeline. It's like a point of pain, something that occurred that had us fracture off, and then that becomes a persona. So let me share with you how I came about this and understanding it. It's kind of funny, but, in not so good way as far as wanting to create a beautiful relationship, but it was good to identify it and to now go on to create the IST process. But I had a boyfriend, and it was this really beautiful romantic setting that he had put out the candles and the music was on, and he had made me dinner, so we had this beautiful dinner, and we end up, he says, do you want to get up and dance? Now, we were just in the house, that I said, yeah, sure. So we get up to dance, and all of a sudden, I felt confronted. I felt as if there was almost a sense that I needed to run. I needed to get out of there. Something was triggered internally within me. And all of a sudden, I don't know what he did. Maybe, a little bit stepped on my foot or something, but I blew it out of proportion. I made this huge deal about it. And so I thought, oh my gosh, what was that? But I didn't apologize. I didn't do anything. I literally caused this argument, went into the room, shut the door. And as I was in there, I thought, what am I doing? I know that I want a beautiful relationship, but why did I do that? I didn't even recognize myself in that moment. So what I did is I closed my eyes and I went in and I started asking myself, who acted that way? Who was doing that? Who was portraying that person? Because I didn't really recognize her. And the image that I got in that moment was I got this, what I call combat girl. She was in her, camo outfit with her tank top and her short shorts and her camo boots. And she had this machine gun with the bullets thrown over like Rambo, thrown over her shoulders.
Wow.
And she was hunkered down in this tall grass.
Wow.
And all of a sudden I saw this image as if I was looking through her eyes. And in the image, I saw me, just twirling in this field with this boy. And she jumped out and just mowed him down with her machine gun. I thought, oh my God, what is this? And what I realized was that was Combat Girl, my persona, that was really trying to protect me. Mm-hmm. She thought if I was to come into contact with a man and be vulnerable, that really equaled death.
Yes.
And so the way that I started recognizing the shadow were really the personas that have been created to protect us, to control situations, or then for the need to survive. So those are the three reasons that I see that these personas are created. And let me tell you, I had to get rid of Combat Girl, and that's why I created the IST process, so I could actually support the clearing of that energy.
Oh my goodness, that is so interesting. So how would you help other people to recognize that they have a persona? You know, how can we do that for ourselves?
Yes, yes. And, what we have to remember is that we all have these aspects of us. We have the unlovable one. We have the saboteur. We have the jealous one, right? We have the sneaky one. We even have the ice woman. What is your natural defense that you go to when you feel confronted? And you really want to get clear on becoming the witness observer to your own behavior of the personas. Now, here's the distinction. That persona was fractured off from the divine, and it has an agenda, right? Need to control, need to protect, need to survive. It's a strategy for survival, right? Now, what we want to do is we want to remember that that's not the truth of who we are. That was not my true higher self nature. I would have never energetically mowed down someone. Yeah. But that part, that persona persona was pre-programmed in the moment of the point of pain. And so what you do is you start to see what, like the witness observer, what is that behavior, that voice? Who does it belong to? And you can literally, like I did, close your eyes, pull it out, start to recognize it. The key is that you really need to shift the program. But it is just fractured off energy that has its own agenda. And once you start to see it, there's a beauty in how you begin to work with your partner or work with a potential mate. Even if you're dating, yes, you're going to see their personas. Their personas will eventually show themselves. But at least you now know, okay, that's just his persona, or that's just her persona, right? Even with your friends, with your relatives, you understand that that's not the truth of who they are. And it disarms you immediately. You don't have to react as if that's the truth. They're offending you. They're triggering some persona within you. And so it eventually becomes a gift.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And the gift is to see the part of you that got split off so that you can return yourself to wholeness. And that's the bottom line.
It's about coming back into a state, because these fractured off pieces will never be fulfilled.
Right.
They will never be fulfilled because they are disconnected from that true divine light. They don't even know themselves. And you forgot you created this aspect to help you survive or to control or to protect you.
Yeah.
So we're bringing consciousness into the moment. You're actually witnessing your own behavior, just like I did. I was far along enough consciously to say, what in the world was that? What was I doing? But it's not you. So just asking the question, whose voice is that in my head? Who did that behavior? Who reacted that way? That will support you. Now, here's the responsible thing to do. When you find a persona, what you want to do is you want to excuse yourself. You really want to go and you want to see, where was that created? Why was it created? And you start to do your own work. And the beauty of this is that you can then come back. I have an example in which I did this, and it blew the mind of this guy that I was dating, because we had a date. We were going to go away for our first weekend together. I was so excited. I was all packed up, ready to go. And 15 minutes after the time he was supposed to come and get me, I called. And he said, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm on the phone with the bank and I can't get off. And I said, okay. And he says, I'm only going to be another 10 minutes. and then I'll come and get you. Well, he lived about 20 minutes away. So, all that freshness, it was like I started wilting slowly, slowly. Well, another 20 minutes goes by, nothing. So I called again. Now, meanwhile, I am boiling. I've got some anger going on here. I'm frustrated. I'm thinking, here was our weekend. We were supposed to go away. It was so special. And so what I ended up doing is I called him again. He goes, I'm still on the phone. I'm so sorry. This is a business thing. I can't get off. I'll call you when I'm done. I'll let you know when I'm on my way. His energy had shifted too, because he started becoming defensive, thinking, oh God, she's going to be pissed,
Yeah.
And so I could feel that. And you know what I did is I went into my room and I started looking back and I said, okay, I've got a persona here, and this was the abandoned one. Right. And what I saw was my dad and my mom and me as a little girl. And my dad used to say to my mom, oh, I'm going to go out and get some milk from the store. I'll be back in 20 minutes. He would never come back. He would go to the bar. He would drink. And, my mom's looking and, then she makes dinner and then we're all sitting there. Dinner gets cold because she won't let us eat. This whole feeling of abandonment. Yeah. And so I did the clearing work on that. I cleared the emotion because that's what it was tied to. And then by the time he got there, I didn't have any emotion around it. There was no heat. There was no trigger. And so he said, immediately is, okay, I guess we better talk this out before we go. And I said, no, actually, I'm fine. And he goes, oh, yeah, right, you're fine. And I said, no, really, I'm fine. I'm okay. Come on, let's go. And he said, no, wait a second. What's going on here? And I said, here's what you supported me with in clearing. And I told him the story. I shared it with him. I included him on it. I didn't try to hide it, didn't try to push it back. I came forward. I was vulnerable. And because of that, he said, you are blowing my mind. I've never met a woman like you. And we had a fabulous weekend. And I made a request to him. I said, I need to make a request because although I did my work, I still need to ask you, next time, you need to be in consistent connection with me to let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to have expectations, and this was our agreement, and I need to be able to trust you and know that you have integrity. And that was it. So really beautiful, but being able to witness, go in, do your own work, bring it back and really share what you discovered and how you shifted it. And the person's going to be blown away. It doesn't matter if it's, in relationship, love relationship, anyone that you want a beautiful, loving, honest relationship with. That's how to create it.
Oh, thank you so much for modeling that for us. That was just such a beautiful example of what we can do when we find ourselves getting all bent out of shape emotionally, yes. How to go within, do the work, do the excavation. You did it really quickly. Obviously, you're in touch with yourself. Yeah, you've done it for a while. And then also you modeled for us exactly how to communicate to our partner what's going on with us, and then to make a request for how we can take care of ourselves better. That was beautiful. That's exactly what we all need to know and learn.
Yes.
So, Christel, you have been so gracious to offer to my clients and my followers to do some intuitive readings for questions that they sent in.
Yes.
And I am so thrilled to be able to have a whole bunch of questions from people. So if you're ready, we can get into some of that right now.
Sure. Yeah. So I just want to say, everyone, what I'm doing is I'm actually tuning in with your higher self. I had an amazing spiritual awakening and opening that allows me to see and hear and feel and know energy. And so what I'm doing is I'm not pulling it out of your aura. I'm not pulling it out of, your future lifeline. I'm actually connecting with your higher self. Mm-hmm. So this is information coming directly from your higher self. It's not me, Christel. I kind of get out of the way and be able to just connect in. So that's what I'll be doing.
Well, that is the perfect place to come from. Just pure, straight essence and wholeness and highest power. So, first question. Anne from Nashville writes, at 45 years old, why have I chosen to work so intimately with moms and empowered birthing for 15 years, yet have not created a life partner and family of my own?
Okay, so this is a past life issue that you're dealing with. So what we see is in past life issues, the energy still remains in your energetic field. It's kind of like a little karmic tag that's placed on you for you to work out. Now, what I'm seeing is this is 6 past lives ago. And when I look back and see there, what I see is a huge event of disappointment energy, where actually it looks like there was a little bit of abuse. There was some betrayal energy in there. And there's also some energy in which you were tricked into something else or a situation, okay? So the things that you want to work on is you want to work on that betrayal energy. Now let me bring it into the chakra system for you, because you can work on the chakra system in your energetic field, and that will help. But also I'm going to tell you how to clear it in the timeline. The chakra that you're working on is the sacral chakra. It's the second chakra, okay? And what I see there is that's where the emotion around this event resides. So what you're going to do is you're going to float up above your timeline and imagine a string to your past. And you're going to go float just right up above that past life event and look down on it and just get a sense. You may see the whole event and what happened. You may not. But what we want you to do is we want you to clear the emotional energy that you feel is present there related to that betrayal. Okay? And once you clear emotion out of it, you're literally going to drain it like you would drain a bathtub. Drain the emotion down into the center of the earth. Imagine it dissolving and transmuting into something new. Replace the emotion in the event. Okay? Now, then you can float all the way back to now and work on your own power center. Clear that emotion. Replace that emotion. That will help unlock the blockage. Emotion is the glue that holds the patterns in place, okay? So if you can get that emotion, you start to really unlock that blockage that's in your energy field, which is displaying as the reality of your life.
Wow, thank you so much for that, Christel. Okay, Alex from Kansas writes, will my marriage survive my wife's midlife crisis?
Okay, got it. Yeah. So actually what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a persona that's within you. That persona that's within you actually trails back through your genealogical line. And it goes actually not through your father's, it goes through your mother's genealogical line. Now what I'm sensing is that there is this one within you that is resentful, okay? So the aspect that you want to work on, just like I had Combat Girl, you've got to work on the resentful one, all right? So as you shift the energy of the resentful one, you're going to clear the emotion that goes hand in hand with resentment. So what is the emotion that the resentful one is holding? That's what you clear out of that persona and then replace it. Now, what I can tell you is once you clear that resentment, you're kind of in a clean slate, okay? But if you have other aspects, you need to work on those as well. What I'm seeing as far as your contract, your relationship contract, is it's still intact. I'm not seeing that it's totally burned off or that it's almost done. I'm actually seeing that it's still intact. So let's have you start shifting that resentful one. See if we can shift the dynamic, okay? And then the other thing you want to work on is the throat chakra. Because that throat chakra, there's a blockage there. There's a lot you want to get out, and you're not able to get that out. So you've got to work on that. You've got to either go and write it out. You've got to go to the park. I've done this, in your car, scream it out, do whatever you need to do, tell whoever you need to tell. Imagine that she's there and you are spilling everything to her from your higher self to her higher self. Really start to clean your container and reset that. because only then will you be able to actually communicate it in the way that she's going to be able to take it, understand it, and start to make the shifts. Because she's actually closing down energetically right now. We don't want her to do that. We want her to open up, right? So work on those things, and that will help start to shift the energy dynamic.
Wow, beautiful. I love these. So interesting. So now Dion in London writes, I was recently on holiday to Thailand and felt so free there. I was also drawn to a man named Gili who was traveling through there at the same time, who said he'd visit me in London next month. I'd like to know if he really will. And he's not the reason, but I'm contemplating moving to Thailand for 6 to 12 months and trying to work there. Is this a good idea?
So one of the things that I want to say, because as I'm looking at this, what I see energetically is there's something within you that is actually attached to him energetically. He stands as something for you. And what I want to say is please work on what persona is really attaching, that he has some meaning, okay? There's a greater meaning than you're putting, or a part of you is projecting onto him. Your higher self is telling me that that's the lesson that needs to be cleared. So if you clear that, it's going to open a way for him to actually arrive if you want him to. But it'll be aside from all the aspects that might be projecting something into the future, okay? So this is why that connection was actually set up. It wasn't for him to come or not to come. There is that aspect that's projecting and has some kind of attachment. So you want to really take a strong look. And remember, these are not you. These aspects are not you or anyone else. They are the fractured off pieces. So what I'm seeing is I'm seeing that when you were about 5 years old, something occurred and it created that fracturing off in this aspect of you that has the expectation of him coming. Clear that, and then it feels as if the door is going to be open to be able to have him come, if that's what you want then. You may not even want it because you may have really no attachment at that point.
That's such a good point. Absolutely. Jocelyn from Florida says, am I ready to meet my soulmate now? And is he ready to meet me? Or is there still more shadow work to be done?
Okay, I got it. Because what I'm seeing is I'm seeing you and I'm seeing him. And so I see that what I usually do is I put you on this grid. It's kind of like an energetic map. And I see, okay, how close are you? And so this is what it's showing me, right? So when we look at that, what I want to tell you is that there is something that you're holding on to, and it looks like a past pain. Now, let me just check and see when that was first created and when you got that pain. So it's after birth, and now we're looking at around 4 years old. So there's insecurity. There's an insecure aspect that actually looks even smaller than a 4-year-old. It feels like she's almost maybe around 2 years old. But at 4 years old, this is actually what fractured off. And there's a little bit of insecurity about not fully being worthy of that love. So my suggestion is to work on that one. Pull that shadow self out, that persona. Start to clear up. Now, the emotion is actually despair. That's the emotion. So that's the key. Start working on clearing that despair and allow that insecurity to shift. Now you're going to need to give that persona a new suggestion, or what we call a new assignment, okay? What do you really want that energy to be used for? To know your worthiness. So you've got to strengthen the connection with the divine, all right? So I want you in your heart space, the sacred space of the heart. I want you connecting and calling forth your higher self every day, and ask to become the embodiment of your higher self. That will support the energies coming in, and the universe will support you getting that reflection of the truth of you as your higher self.
Awesome, awesome. So Ginny in Orlando writes, is my current home where I should be? And I would love to know what's the main issue keeping me from finding love, even getting a date with someone that appeals to me.
Yeah, there's some stagnancy energy where you're at right now, okay? So you've got to check to see what that stagnant energy is. Now remember, everybody can shift energy. This is our God-given right. We have the capacity, but it requires focused attention. And what I usually see is that our attention is outside of our body so much of the time that we're not able to get the information or to hear our true higher self or our intuition. So everyone, you've got to call your energy and awareness back from all people, places, experiences, circumstances, situations that you're going through. Call your awareness back. Bring it inside your body, in the core of you. And with that, now you're going to be able to discern what stagnant energy is that. What does it feel like? Does it feel muddy and heavy? And all you have to do, and this is what I do, put a vortex, a counterclockwise vortex of energy around your home, around your aura. You know, just imagine that connecting into the center of the earth. And there we know that there's these high vibrational Schumann waves. And we can transform anything and transmute anything. So that's what you want to do to clear emotion out of your body, to clear it out of your home. That's one of the first things that you can do. So clear that stagnancy. Now, what was the second question?
What's blocking me? Actually, I moved on to the next one.
Okay.
What is the main issue in keeping me from finding love, even getting a date with someone that appeals to me?
Okay, so interesting. You have a persona that really is disgusted by, I don't know, disgusted by, is it men? Disgusted by the masculine? Disgusted by what? So let's just have you check to see. Pull that disgusted one out because she's critical. She really is so critical. And what's happening is there's some inner turmoil within you because there's parts of you that you really dislike. You're disgusted with parts of yourself, right? So do the persona work. Make sure you clear out, pull out those personas that you're disgusted with, or by, I should say. And, you know, make sure you clear them up. Start to renew the relationship between your own masculine and feminine. If your masculine is not holding that strong, safe structure, and you can't trust your own masculine to support you, your feminine is not going to show up, right? She's going to actually have judgment towards the masculine. So start within, do an integration on that persona, and make sure you're clearing up any of those aspects within you that you're projecting onto that disgust. And that's going to help you. It's going to really support you in now being in non-judgment and just being open. Universe, is this a person I'm supposed to go on another date with? If it's yes, then go on it. If it's no, then don't. Check to see, does my body want to be in contact with this person? If it's yes, then fine. If it's no, then it's no. Emotionally, do I want to be emotionally tied to this person? Communicate with your own emotional body, mental body, physical body, spiritual body. Ask them, do they want you to be involved? Because then you know you're relying on the divine. And so whatever, you're working karma out for a certain short period of time, or it's going to, last forever. But you just do what the divine is directing you to do in that moment.
Well, Christel, this has been so fascinating to see you really get in and work with people and how you work with people. And we, of course, have your website down here below. And I understand you've got a free gift that you want to give to everybody. And I'd love to have you tell us about the Create a Love Conversation series.
Yes. So with this, this is like a little mini seminar series where actually you go through and you learn about these personas, but you also learn about what baggage you've been carrying in the past. So what we found is that there's a lot of hooks, there's a lot of energy and enmeshment that you may have had with people from the past. You have to learn how to unhook and unlock from them. There's sexual signatures that they've actually put within your being that you want to erase. You've got to clear these sexual imprints. They're energetically, inside your being now. Sometimes, as we know, we give our full self over to someone, but we forget to bring our full self back, or we have been claimed by someone else. And we need to make sure that all of those cords and the energies are fully, completely cleared. So that is all about that. You're going to learn, and I literally take you through 3 calls where we go through the actual exercises to get you started on releasing the excess energies out of your field and really reclaiming yourself, reclaiming your power, and knowing the truth of who you are.
That is so valuable. I'm sure everyone's going to be down here clicking away and grabbing that for themselves. So again, Christel, it's been such a pleasure to have you with us. You're just such a brilliant, vibrant light, and you're so talented at what you do. And I just send blessings for everything that you're doing and part of. And thank you again for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. It's been such a pleasure. Much love to all of you.
Okay, bye, everybody. Okay. See you all on the next installment of Heal the Shadow in Your Relationships, too. Bye.